Okay, so let's start out with question number 31. We will be completing the history questions here in this particular round. With reference to Chauset Yogini temple near Morena, consider the following statements. So what is the belief that is most commonly held with regard to Chauset Yogini temple? See, there is a popular belief that it was on the Chauset Yogini. It was modeled on the Chauset, or the Indian Parliament building was modeled on the Chauset Yogini. The Chauset Yogini is actually a circular temple, which is a very rare thing in India. Temples are normally rectangular, or it might also be built on a square plot. But this is a very rare form of or a rare kind of architecture that is there in the country. Okay, so the Chauset Yogini temple, so there's a popular belief that the Indian Parliament was modeled on the Chauset Yogini temple. It might or might not be true. We are not sure about it. We cannot get into the, we cannot access the archives nor the people then. Unfortunately, it has not been historically written anywhere. So anyways, it's just a popular belief that's held. So 4 I think is true. Okay, there. So it is a circular temple built during the reign of the Kachapagada dynasty. Yes, it was. Okay, the Kachapagada dynasty. It was built during the tenure of Kachapagada dynasty. Now, how can you get this question right? The third, it was meant to promote the Vaishnava cult, which is a very wrong assertion. See, the temple is a Yogini temple. That's the first thing that you should remember. It's a Shakti cult temple. It's a Yogini temple. Okay, so it has a different, it has a female deity. Okay, it hosts a female deity and also Shiva. So I think that part is clear to you all. Okay, so that part is, so Vaishnava temple is wrong. So I think from this you've got the answer already. You've got 4 and there is 2, 3 and 4 is wrong, since 3 is wrong. So I think the answer is clear, 1 and 4, C. Okay, so you don't actually need to know 1. All you need to do is you need to eliminate, you need to understand, or you need to just realize that the third statement is wrong. Of course, the temple itself is named Chauset Yogini. Okay, so which makes the matter really clear. Okay, now let's move on. 32. Which one of the following ancient towns is well known for its elaborate system of water harvesting and management by building a series of dams and channelizing water into connected reservoirs? This, of course, is Dholavira. Dholavira is also well known for the 3 demarque, or the 3 types of towns, or the 3 types of structure. There, it has an upper town, citadel, middle, and a lower town. So Dholavira's urban complex is actually divided into 3, which is also a very rare feature in the Indus Valley civilization. Most of them have a citadel and a lower town. This also has a middle town. So Dholavira is also a later Harappan site, which might be one of the reasons why it has such elaborate features. Okay, so the answer is Dholavira. So please remember that too. In the first quarter of the 17th century, in which of the following was where the factories of the English East India Company located? Now, let me give you a hint. Let me drop a hint on how to solve this question. See, probably where might the East India Company locate its factory, or where might the East India Company build its factory? It probably might be in a coastal region. So from this assertion, you could eliminate Tiruchirappalli. Okay, Tiruchirappalli could be eliminated instantly. So now you've got 1 and 2. Now Srikakulam is the anglicized term for the place Srikakulam in Andhra Pradesh. Okay, so Srikakulam in Andhra Pradesh. Srikakulam is not well known for its maritime trade nor its access to the sea. Srikakulam is of course a coastal region, but it's not well known for that. Srikakulam rarely features in Indian history pertaining to coastal towns or maritime towns or maritime ports. So it is not a well known area. Bharuch or Bharuch or Bharukacha. Okay, Bharuch of course was a very ancient port in India. later on the East India Company built a factory there. They had to several times fend off the Portuguese challenge to retain the port. They also fought the Marathas for retaining their rights over the port, and several such conflicts took place. Bharuch is in Gujarat, it's located in Gujarat and is a port town. It's an ancient port town too. So the answer there is one only. Srikakulam is not a well-known maritime trade post, so the answer there is one only. This could be considered as a complicated or difficult question. Okay, from the decline of Guptas until the rise of Harshvardhana. So very classical question, classical chronological question. Okay, from the part which the UPSC has posed here. Now what's the answer here? See, if you need to know the answer, first of all, you have to realize that Harshavardhana hailed from the Pushyabhudi dynasty. Okay, so Harshavardhana wasn't the first emperor in the dynasty. Okay, his predecessors had already established a dynasty which was bequeathed by Harshavardhana, its frontiers being expanded by him. Okay, later on. So Harshavardhana wasn't the first emperor. So Pushyabhudi dynasty is of course there. Okay, so now you've got two options, B and C. We need to observe that too. We need to also identify the rest of the options. Now Maitrakas of Vallabhi. See, Maitrakas of Vallabhi, a very important incident, historical incident that could be traced to early medieval Indian eras was the sacking of the Sopara and Bharuch port by the Arabs. The Arabs actually sacked the Bharuch port, which was then under the reign of the Maitrakas. This is a very well-known historical incident. Okay, so these dynasties have also been mentioned repeatedly in your NCRTs, which is why the UPSC has decided to pose this particular question. Okay, so Maitrakas of Vallabhi is right too. So I think you've got the answer already, 3 and 6. Okay, so 1, 3, 4 and 6. Now, of course, the Guptas of Magadha, although the Guptas did decline, a rump state existed even after that. Okay, so this is the Guptas of Magadha and Maukharis of Kannauj. See, the Pushyabhutis overthrew the Maukharis to acquire power. Okay, Taneshwar was the new headquarters built by the Pushyabhutis that supplanted Kannauj. Actually, they are from the kingdom of, or they are from the area of Kannauj. Okay, am I clear there? So please remember that. So the answer there is 1, 3, 4 and 6. Now let's move on. According to the Portuguese writer Nunes, see, probably in such questions it is better if you do want to attempt such questions, it is better that you do not apply your mind to the question. Just look at the options. If these options are logically coherent, or if you find that they are coherent, then just write the answer D. Okay, see, this is a very difficult question. This is not posed from an NCRT. This is a really difficult question. What was the role of women? Okay, the women were bodyguards, so probably they did do wrestling. The women, there are certain women who are also astrologists, who normally predicted the future and all that. Accounting, soothsaying. Okay, so there are lots of professions that they are involved in. This is about elite women. Okay, elite women. There are also women scholars. So Nunes has given a better or a very good picture of the Vijayanagara Empire. He has actually mentioned that in the Vijayanagara Empire, women, at least upper caste women, enjoyed a high position and status. Okay, so this is something that we have to infer from Nunes's writings. So the answer there is 1, 2, 3 and 4. Let's move on. Okay, this is another difficult question. Madanapalli of Andhra Pradesh. See, Madanapalli is famous for Annie Besant's college actually. Annie Besant built a college known as the Madanapalli College. Okay, Annie Besant's Madanapalli College. But that's not it. The answer here is Rabindranath Tagore translated the national anthem from Bengali to English here. He subscribed to the assistance or help of his niece Sarla Devi Chaudharani to render the song. He was the one who composed and tuned it, but it was its rendition was done by Sarla Devi Chaudharani actually, and also Margaret Cousins. And this actually took place at Madanapalli. Okay, that was a very important moment in Indian history, but I think this question is also very difficult. Okay, so anyways, this is wrong. Madam Blavatsky and Colonel Arcot set their Theosophical Society's headquarters was set in Chennai. So I think that can be inferred from this question. Pingali Vengaya Visakhapatnam Conference. Visakhapatnam Conference. Pattabi Siddharamaiah, the Quit India movement, that is an option that is going to be very difficult to eliminate. So I think this is a factual question. The answer there is C. There are two options that one could eliminate possibly, but that is it. So 36C, Rabindranath Tagore, translated. Okay, now this is a very simple question to start with. Ganeshwar is actually a Bronze Age culture, so it did host multiple copper artifacts. Okay, it's a Bronze Age culture that existed alongside the Indus Valley civilization and a tad bit before it. Okay, Chandraketugad, an ancient port today in Bengal. Okay, Chandraketugad and Tamralipti, both these were ancient ports. Chandraketugad had a fabulous collection of terracotta art. Okay, the old NCERT even has a picture related to this. Burza home is where we realize the importance of pit burial. There are pits where people are buried along with animals, dogs, pit and dog burial. Burza home is located in Kashmir. Okay, so it's a very important ancient site. Okay, so Mesolithic site basically. So Burza home, not rock cut shrines. Rock cut shrines, the first ever rock cut shrine in the country was Barabar. Okay, so this is wrong. This is an ancient site much before that. Okay, a prehistoric site. Okay, so Burza home, remember that. So the answer there is 2 and 3. D. Now let's move on. Consider the following. Another simple question actually. Consider the following. It was during the reign of Iltutmish, the Genghis Khan. Yes, of course. Iltutmish ruled between 1211 to 1240. Okay, see, Genghis Khan had acquired power by that time in Central Asia, and he was actually planning to mount an offensive in India. But Iltutmish, with his charm, wooed him onto his side. A rebel king from the Khwarazm Empire of Iran had sought refuge in India, but was refused or turned down by Iltutmish out of fear for repercussions. The Mongols pursued this Khwarazm king, and he was denied refuge and handed over to the Mongols, who then later hung him to death. Okay, so Khwarazm Empire is located in today's Iran. So Genghis Khan had mounted a fierce offensive in Iran and conquered it and annexed it. Okay, so this is an important event that is there in your NCERT, old NCERT Satish Chandra. All this information is there in your old NCERT Satish Chandra. It was during the reign of Muhammad bin Tughlaq that Taimur occupied. Taimur came to India in 1398 actually. Muhammad bin Tughlaq was much before that. Okay, his Devgad initiative, his transfer of capital, his coins, introduction of token coins, etc. All of this perhaps took place much before that, in the 1340s and 50s. Okay, so this is a wrong answer. Nasruddin Muhammad was the then king, which is Nasruddin Muhammad was the then king. So this is another chronological question. Nasruddin Muhammad Tughlaq. It was during the reign of Devaraya II. Devaraya II is considered to be the greatest one of the greatest Vijayanagara rulers. Okay, so he hailed from the Saluva dynasty. Okay, no, he actually hailed from the Sangama. He was one of the last kings of the Sangama dynasty actually. Okay, the Vijayanagara Sangama dynasty. Devaraya II is considered one of the greatest of his time. Okay, he reigned between 1430s to 60s actually. Multiple foreigners who visited the Vijayanagara Empire give a testimony to his greatness. Devaraya II, one of the greatest rulers. See, you should also remember contemporaries of Devaraya II. One being Kapilendra Deva of the Gajapati kingdom. Kapilendra Deva, a Gajapati king who ruled Odisha. He was a contemporary ruler in Odisha, Kapilendra Deva, and also Rana Kumbha of Mewar, Rana Sanga's great grandfather, Rana Kumbha, Mewar, who built the Vijayastambh in Mewar. Rana Kumbha and Kapilendra Deva, along with Devaraya II, constituted a potent trio of Hindu rulers that had acquired power in various parts of India at the time. See, India was then overrun by Islamic rulers, the Islamic empires, but it was under, but a Hindu resilience was, there was a Hindu revival movement or resilience that was aided by the rise of these rulers. Not that that is really important, but that is how history has mentioned them. Okay, that is why we have to give that part importance. So I hope the answer there is clear. The answer there is one only. Okay, Vasco da Gama visited in 1498. So I don't think you have anything to discuss about that one. Okay, so next question. Saint Francis Xavier. See, this question is, I would say, very unfortunate question. Saint Francis Xavier, of course, founded the Jesuit order. Okay, he founded the Jesuit order not only in India but across the world. Okay, the Jesuit order. Saint Francis did not die in Goa. He died in China. Consequently, his mortal remains was brought to the Church of Bom Jesus in Goa, which was recently declared as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. His mortal remains still persist in or still remain in the Church of Bom Jesus in Goa. Okay, അപ്പം UNESCO World Heritage Site and question വന്ന Dholavira തന്നെയാ UNESCO World Heritage Site and question വന്ന. Okay, the feast of Saint Francis Xavier is celebrated in Goa each year. That is there, of course. Saint Francis Xavier is a very revered figure in Goa. Okay, so the answer there is 1 and 3. So he was, this part is right, but this part is wrong. Okay, so this is another very tricky question from the part of the UPSC and very rare. That is another fact that you should remember. Okay, with reference to history of ancient India, which of the following statements are correct? See, Mitakshara and Dayabhaga are laws of inheritance. They are laws of inheritance. There are two different schools that mention about the inheritance laws. They are Brahmanical. Okay, they are Brahmanical. They are Brahmanical rule books, law books, alongside the Dharma Shastras. So, Mitakshara and Dayabhaga. Now, the Dayabhaga was a more reformed school in the sense it did accord rights to widows and all that. Okay, it was a more rights to widows to acquire to acquire property. That was there to a limited extent. Whereas Mitakshara was a very anachronistic school. So Mitakshara system, the sons can claim right to the property. See, in the Mitakshara system, joint family is what is considered to be important. Every member of the joint family has right over ancestral property. Any property that is ancestral, every member has co-parcenary rights. The term is co-parcenary. They've got co-parcenary rights over, every family member has co-parcenary rights over joint family property. Whereas the Dayabhaga system, only after the demise of the original owner or original inheritor of the property can the property be given to his future generation. അപ്പം ഉദാഹരണത്തിന് അച്ഛൻ മരിച്ചാൽ മാത്രം മകന് കിട്ടുള്ളൂ. മിതാക്ഷര സിസ്റ്റത്തിൽ അച്ഛനും മകനും ഗ്രാൻഡ് സണ്ണും എല്ലാവർക്കും ഒരേപോലെ അവകാശം. കോപാർസണറി റൈറ്റ്സ് ആ, മറ്റൊരു കോപാർസണറി അല്ല. ഓക്കെ, ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ഓൺലി വെൻ ദി owner of the property dies can his ancestral property be transferred to his son, but it can also be transferred to his widow. Okay, that is the difference in Dayabhaga. Okay, and to a limited extent to females, but nonetheless this is what is accurate. See, this part is really confusing. I will agree to that, but this is more accurate. That is, it does mention about male and female members, but mostly about widows. Okay, the sati system was practiced in Dayabhaga areas because of this. Okay, it mentions about widows, not about male and every male and female family and property related matters and all that. So this is more accurate actually. If there was an answer 2 and 3, we could have opted for that, but there is only 2 only. So we have to opt for that since this is more accurate. Okay, so the answer here is 2 only. Now let's move on. That was another difficult question. Simple question, playwrights. Pavabudhi, Uttara Ramacharita. I think you're familiar with his works. Or anyways, prelims ne padichandavum. Okay. Kshemeshwara and Hastimala. Hastimala was an exponent of Vedantic theology. Now, let's move on. Consider the following statements. Of course, this is Very wrong. See, age of 21, no. There are property restrictions and taxation restrictions applied on all universally. Okay, so this is wrong. Montaigu-Chelmsford reforms. Let women be, let it be women, or let it be anybody. There are property restrictions applied on that. The Government of India Act of 1935 gave women reserved seats. Yes, it did. See, actually, it was in the Montaigu-Chelmsford reforms that the first proclamation came about, but it was consequently retracted. Okay, പക്ഷെ എന്നാലും തമിഴ്നാട്ടിലൊക്കെ in the Madras province women were given reserved seats, and some of the first women contested there in the Madras province. Later on, it was under the Government of India that a blanket reservation was brought about at provincial level. Okay, in provincial legislators. Am I clear there? So this is something that you should remember, two only. Okay, so it's a deep question actually. Now, which of the following is a very simple question? Quit India resolution. Let's move on. I don't think I have to explain about it much. The answer is 8th August 1942, Quit India resolution. So let's move on. Songs from prison. See, the guy who has been in prison for the longest time was Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi has written a heck lot of books, one of which is Songs from Prison, in which he translates the Ramayana, he translates various poems and all that into English. Okay, so there are various works. Kathasarit Sagar, Tulsidasa's Ramayana, okay, Ramcharitamanas actually, Kabir's works. He has literally translated many of these ancient cultural works into English. Okay, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. The answer, the next question, with reference to medieval India, which one of the following is the correct sequence in ascending order? Okay, in ascending order, the correct sequence is A. Pargana, Sarkar, and Suba. Suba being the province, Sarkar district, and Pargana is smaller division actually. Okay, Sarkar, Pargana is sometimes also referred to as Shik. Okay, so please remember that. Okay, so this system was brought about during the time of the Delhi Sultanate. Okay, so remember that. This is another very simple question. Bethune Female School. Who started the Bethune Female School? Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. He was instrumental in assisting JF Reporter Bethune in establishing the Bethune School. So the answer is Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. In the context of colonial India, the answer is Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. Next question, in the context of 47th question, in the context of colonial India, Shah Nawaz Khan, Prem Kumar Sehgal and Gurbakh Singh Dhillon were officers of the Indian National Army who were put on trial, open trial at Red Fort in Delhi. That consequently triggered the INA protests. Okay, a Hindu, a Sikh and a Muslim were put on trial in the INA in the aftermath of the INA movement and the Second World War. Consequently, protests broke out and a movement started, which is not the INA movement. Now, next question, with reference to Indian history, which of the following is correct? Mysore kingdom did emerge from the Vijayanagara Empire, undoubtedly. Okay, the Mysuru Rayas, the Nayaks of Mysore, declared independence. Okay, the Mysuru Nayaks declared independence from the Vijayanagara Empire. Okay, they were known as the Wadayar Nayaks. So this is the history of Mysore. Now, Rohilkhand kingdom was constituted much prior to the arrival of Ahmad Shah Durrani. Ahmad Shah Durrani did not stay in India to set up an empire. So that is something that you should remember. Rohilkhand Empire also allied with Ahmad Shah Durrani during the Third Battle of Panipat. Third Battle of Panipat, Ahmad Shah Durrani kuda ally aayirunnu. They allied with Ahmad Shah Durrani during the Third Battle of Panipat. So the answer here is two only. Nizamat of Arcot emerged out of the Hyderabad state is actually proclaimed by certain people, but its actual history does not corroborate to that. So we'll stick on with answer B, but there is a slight, I would say there is a difference of opinion in with regards to that answer, but anyways, we'll stick with B, box, two only. Okay, now let's move on. Next question, which are the following statements? Factual question, Vagora River. Okay, if you have been to Ajanta Caves, you could have got that answer, but the question isn't simple. Vagora Caves, Vagora River. Okay, answer A. Okay, now let's move on. Last part. Question number 50. What is the answer there? So 49 answer A. Question number 50. 21st February is declared to be the International Mother Language Day. Yes, it was. Yes, it is. The demand that Bangla has to be one of the national languages was raised in the Constitution. Yes, it was. It was rejected. It was raised in the Constituent Assembly, but alarmingly rejected by Pakistani legislators who preferred Urdu as a national language and the sole national language, which actually triggered the movement, the Bangladesh freedom movement. Okay, so please remember that. 50 answer is C. Okay, 49 answer A, 50 answer C, both 1 and 2. So I hope you all had a wonderful examination. Please, everybody, try learning from your mistakes. The others who feel that they've done well, all the best for your mains examination. Thank you.